Hey everyone, here's my presentation on digital signatures for CSC 333. Alright, let's start out with a little history. Okay, 1977, primitive signatures. This period of time was when people were, first discussing signatures, how viable they would be to use in digital communication. They were first created with public key cryptography, and they used the RSA algorithm. 1989 is 12 years later when the first commercial softwares to offer digital signatures came out. Lotus Notes 1 was released. It was widely distributed and offered these signatures. 1998, PDF gains the functionality to allow embedded signatures in their files. In 2000, the e-Sign Act was passed. This act basically said that digital signatures have the force of physical signatures, like actual signatures, paper and ink. That means that they're fully enforceable by law. If you sign something online digitally, you're just as liable for everything as if it were signed actually, like physically. Why do we use digital signatures? Secure online communication. Signatures offer us a way to protect ourselves from many dangerous online threats. Authentication and dispute resolution through non-repudiation, which I'll go through in the next slide. What is a digital signature? It's a value attached to a message. Digital signatures created when the sender encrypts their message after it is given to a hash value or checksum function. It's a way to authenticate documents. Authentication happens by means of the public key infrastructure. Each computer has a private key that either decrypts or encrypts the data. And because the key is unique, we can use it to authenticate the user. Can't be denied by the sender. This principle is known as non-repudiation. Because the private key uniquely identifies the sender, the transmission data cannot be denied. They can't go back and say, oh, I didn't send it, because, well, the message has their signature on it. And the only person who really knows who can create that signature is that person. It maintains integrity. Any change in the message after it is signed invalidates the signature. Alright, creating a digital signature. Alright, let's say I wanted to send a message. First, I'm going to write the message first, obviously. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send it to a hash function, like something like, there are tons of hash functions out there, like MD5, MD4, secure hash. But basically, each function operates differently depending on what your authentication scheme is. You'll use a different hash function. Basically, the message is broken up into blocks. It's run through the function to create a message digest value. It's then encrypted with a private key, and we get this value that's the digital signature. It's then included with the message, and then we can send it. Let's talk about the SHA hash function. Like I said, there are tons of hash functions out there. I just chose the SHA because it interested me the most, I guess. And yeah, it's accepted by the U.S. government as a standard for signatures. So I mean, take that as you will. I'll go over a little bit how it works. First, the messages are padded, so they're a multiple of 512 bits. Second, we create a 5-word buffer. It's initialized to a certain value. It's five values that are like hex strings. 3, the message is processed in 512-bit chunks using 4 rounds of 20-bit operations. And then once it's all done, our output is the final buffer value, and that is what we'll use as the signature value. All right, now let's decrypt that digital signature that I sent a few slides ago. First of all, we've got to receive the message. Well, the receiver receives the message, and they're going to decrypt it with their public key. And it's going to be sent to that same hash function. All right, now 2 things can happen. The values of the sender and the receiver can match, or they cannot match. If they don't match, this means that the message has been changed, that it does not exist as it has been sent. Okay, something happened there. If those 2 values are equal, that means that it's improbable that it was altered. I say improbable because, you know, an attacker could probably still get away with it somehow, alter the message and get the same message digest value. All right, let's talk about certificates now. Certificate's a file of data fields that contains and proves a public key. This includes info about the public key, who issued it, the period of time in which it is available to be used, and the digital signature of the certificate authority itself. Encrypts communication between a browser and a website to allow secure communication. How do we get a certificate? A third party called the certificate authority issues these certificates. Basically, they check to make sure people who are applying to get a certificate are, you know, trusted, stuff like that. Now, this third party is a source of trust for both parties, the sender and the receiver. People like Symantec, Komodo, and Mozilla are examples of a CA. Because one thing you can't transfer over the internet is trust. You're not going to trust a website with a certificate that's from some unknown authority more than you're going to trust something that's, you know, signed by Microsoft or, you know, one of those companies that I said. Finally, OS and browsers. Operating systems and browsers maintain a list of trusted certificates from authorities to easily verify other certificates that they have signed. All right, this ends my presentation. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in a few weeks.